I'm legally insane.
I see that you have a Super Adventure Island 2 game right there that I think I would like to purchase. But instead of cash, do you take bullets to the face? How about you put it in the bag right now? I'm in a hurry. I got to get out of here. I got kids to feed. Yeah, I feed them with Super Nintendo games. Quit asking questions. Put the game in the bag.
And you are watching episode 1 of my brand new series discussing 69
69.
Super Nintendo games where the prices are going up. John Bunday's mother loves a good 69. Old Town knows all about that. Oh, you can find her all day, every day, back at the 7-Eleven right behind the dumpster. 69s all day. She loves her a good 69 list of games. Filled with rare gems and absolute bangers. And that's exactly what I brought here right now today. Let's get started. Similar to that of the NES, the Super Nintendo also carries a cult status as one of the OG greatest of all time consoles. To this day, the Super Nintendo has produced some of the all-time best games ever made. And we're not just talking they were the best back then, back in the day, back in their prime. No, they still hold up today as the best games ever made, right now in 2026, especially in the RPG and beat 'em up genres. Games like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy III, Earthbound, Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore, Lufia 1 and 2, and even Illusion of Gaia or Brainlord. These are some of the best ever made in the RPG genre. But how about the greatest 2D platformer ever made? Donkey Kong Country. We're talking the OG. I mean, the music alone makes the game a 10. Have you ever listened to the soundtrack? And I haven't even mentioned the graphics or the gameplay. And Nintendo pulled that off without the best composer of all time, Nobuo Uematsu. They pulled that off without Nobuo Uematsu. Has anyone played a modern Metroid game? One of those 3D Metroid games? GameCube, Nintendo Switch? I don't care what console it is. Have you ever played that and then gone back to the OG 2D side-scroller Super Nintendo Super Metroid? I'll take that version any day of the week. Rare, hidden gem, and sought-after Super Nintendo games have been rising for about 16 years or more straight. Long-term bull market. We're talking 16 plus year long-term bull market that has not ended. It's still going right now. And there are absolutely no signs of that ending anytime soon. This is a long-term bull market. You have to ignore short-term moves. Focus on the long-term data. Rare, hidden gems, and sought-after Super Nintendo games have been rising for 16 years straight. That's a 16 plus year long-term bull market. that has not ended. And there are absolutely no signs of that ending anytime soon. This is what you call a long-term bull market. You have to ignore short-term moves and focus on that bigger picture long-term data. I have personally watched uneducated, uninformed, zero research YouTubers tell their viewers and tell me as one of their viewers that the retro game prices are crashing for the last 10 years straight. Every single year, sometimes every single month. I hear some YouTuber tell me that the prices are crashing, that they have to come down because nobody's buying them. I've heard them say that retro games are finished. The time of retro is over. The prices have to come down because no one is willing to pay the high prices. They base this entirely on seeing their own viewers bitch and whine in the comments section. These are the people bitching and whining that they cannot afford the games anymore. And they wish they could find Earthbound at a garage sale for $5. Like it was 2004 all over again.
Nothing is over! Nothing!
These are what we call brokies. And they will bitch and whine until the day they die. And they will claim that they're going to emulate, that they will emulate all these games. They're tired of buying, they won't pay these prices, I'm just going to emulate. Which they will, by the way, they will. They're not lying. They're not exaggerating. They will do that because they are broke and the prices are expensive. Understandably so. I am also broke. I get it. And because they can emulate them, and because they do emulate them, they claim that the prices are crashing or that they're going to crash any day now. But emulating these games has literally been around and very possible and easily accessible since the 90s. I was literally emulating NES games in the 90s and Super Nintendo games. Literally emulating them for free on my computer. Emulation is nothing new. You can emulate anything. If you think that emulation is going to lower the price of these games, you are admitting that you know nothing about the collectibles market. In general, you literally know nothing. You know nothing about retro games. You're not a collector, although you probably wish you were. And you don't understand the markets. You don't understand supply and demand. You don't understand why somebody would want a physical game to begin with. And yet you yourself want that physical Earthbound for $5. Even though you can get it for free, you can emulate it. But you don't want to emulate it now, do you? You want it in your collection. You want to see it on your shelf. Why is that? We will discuss that in more detail as the series progresses. But many factors are involved, and not just the rarity level of the games themselves. It's also factors like inflation that affect retro game prices. Just like inflation affects the food you purchase at the grocery store, or commodity prices. So let's get started with this initial list of 69 Super Nintendo game prices that are going up. First up, Shien's Revenge. This is an absolute hidden gem to this very day. Ain't nobody know about it. Ain't nobody know about Shien's Revenge. Great little gem. Ahead of its time for what it was. Arcade style, first person view rail shooter similar to Terminator 2, the arcade game. But instead of firing a machine gun, you're throwing shurikens. But it's more advanced than that. It's not a mindless railgun shooter. You play as a ninja, obviously, throwing shurikens. But you also have to slash with your kunai. So when an enemy comes up close, you can't hit him with a shuriken. You got to slash him with your kunai. So there's a up close and personal melee combat involved here. And you also have to block. And blocking is a major, major factor in this game. You will use your kunai to also block enemy projectiles. I've got a little bit of an interesting history with this game because I bought it on the cheap before the price went to the frickin' moon. And I bought it right before I became 100% homeless. I was homeless one time, and I'm going to make a video about this at one point. And I spent I had like $2,000 or $3,000 to my name back in, I knew the homelessness was coming late 2016. I could see it on my doorstep. I didn't have a job. I couldn't get hired. Economy was bad. This was up in Alberta. Oil price had crashed. Just couldn't get a job. Nobody was hiring me. It was over. I'll go into more detail later, but I spent my last, let's just say $3,000 on retro games that I knew the price was going up. Super Nintendo games and Sega Genesis games, to be quite honest with you. I just went crazy. All on eBay, loaded up, spent every dime I had. And then I later went homeless.
Huh?
But I had my Super Nintendo games to take with me. Ain't no way I was giving up the Super Nintendo games. That paid off right now today. Let's look at the chart. Currently price charts for about 350 Canadian dollars. I paid about $80 shipped to my door. That's 250 US dollars on the button. Recent sold listing exactly $250 on November 18th. Prior to that, you're looking at $269.99, 270 American dollars. Very hard to find game, very low print run. So when people tell me, oh, the Super Nintendo games are all crashing, oh, they're all worthless. Who's gonna buy Mario for $500? Well, nobody's gonna buy Mario because it's common. It's dirt common, you retard. The market rewards lesser known titles when the market discovers these titles. They don't need to be 10 out of 10. Shien's Revenge is known for it's too long of a game. It's not a 10 out of 10 game by any means. It just happens to be unique and original and something that's, lesser known. It's got a bit of a cult-like status now. And the market rewards these hidden gems when the market discovers them. Collectors will pay a premium for uncommon and rare games that didn't have large print runs or mainstream popularity. Shien's Revenge ain't no mainstream Mario or Metroid or Zelda. And the market will pay these premiums even if those games weren't critically acclaimed at release or even if they got poor reviews at that time. And many of these games often become lesser known underground hits with cult like followings. And when you combine that with the rarity, it means the price goes up. And a title like Shien's Revenge, that rail shooter, ninja theme, first person style, this is very unusual for the Super Nintendo library. It's a bit of an oddball. It's an obscure game. Released in 1994. Now, here's the beautiful part about this game. It's one of the few games that is compatible with the Super Nintendo mouse. And the game is actually significantly better and easier if you do use the mouse, but it is beatable without the mouse as well. It's just going to be harder. You're going to need good reflexes. You're going to have some memorization on when certain enemies will pop out, similar to, a traditional arcade game. This one just happens to not be an arcade game. It's also unique in that there are some pretty incredible boss battles with some pretty incredible graphics, and the game utilizes Mode 7 for those battles.
Oh, you gotta hit this guy up close, I guess. He blocks the kunai, the ninja stars. What? Oh, I slaughtered him at the end.
This game also has cheat codes, which makes it more fun. If you find it too difficult, guess what? There's a cheat code for a super easy mode. And if you're using the mouse and you, for some reason, want to become the world's greatest Shien's Revenge player, there's a super hard mode for you. More importantly, there's a code to get 7 secret special weapons, because there are special weapons that you can obtain in this game. There's a code for various cheats, but I don't know what that does. I think I tried that and I couldn't figure it out. It might even just be random what actually happens when you use that. It's been a while since I played this. Oh, look at this. Control bosses. Hold L and R on controller 2 and then start a new game with controller 1. So maybe you can do a 2-player battle. I'm not sure. That's pretty cool. And I did use these cheat codes, like I said, because that's what made the game fun for me. And I want to show you something else. Guess what? People are learning about this game in this modern day, in this modern era. Like I said, it got bad reviews when it came out. Mixed to bad reviews. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good for what it is. It's unique. It's original. It's pretty impressive for the Super Nintendo. And here in 2019, we got the best review it's ever gotten. A 9 out of 10 on GameFAQ. Somebody passionate about the game wrote a review. And for him to do that in 2019, that tells you that people are still talking about this game today, meaning every year that passes, every month that passes, more and more people learn about its existence, and that's why the price is doing what it's doing for the last 20 years. I like to say that these games bottomed in 2010, and that's when the bull market began for just about every Super Nintendo game. And maybe it was even before that, but we don't have the data to go further back. But 2010, you could have paid $10, $10 in February of 2010, and it's $250 today. And that's if you can get it for that price. Plus, you got to pay taxes. Plus, you got to pay shipping. Every $10 increase is a 100% increase in the price. If you don't think that's astronomical gains, I can't help you. And the reason it's up is because people find out about it. I bought it in 2016. Let's say late 2016. So maybe September. I mean, that might have been when I paid. Or actually, maybe I even bought it early 2017, right before I went homeless. I don't remember exactly when I bought it. That would make sense. It's about $50 in September 2017, August 2017. 80 Canadian dollars. That's probably accurate. And I bought it then because I didn't know it existed prior to that. I honestly didn't know about it. Otherwise, I would have loved to have paid $14.95 US back in October 2010 when I was on the market buying Super Nintendo games. There are 3 difficulties: easy, normal, and hard, but also that very easy, don't forget, with the cheat code. You have a limited amount of ninja magic in case you absolutely get overwhelmed by enemies on screen. But some of us may feel this is cheating and never use it. Well, I don't know about that, buddy. I certainly used it. I love that the RNG in this game is truly random. I've been able to verify from playing the game that the bosses use random patterns when they attack you. See, I did not know that. That's rather interesting. So it's not a set start to finish attack pattern. Wow. Which makes it much more enjoyable experience to play. That is cool. At the very end, he says, "At first, I admit I wasn't impressed by the look of the game, for no other reason than the floating Dis- dismembered arm on screen made it look unpolished. However, I grew to like the immersive feeling of holding a kunai, and I saw how good looking the rest of the graphics were. They're incredible graphics, guys. Great game, and guess what? The price is going to continue to rise in the long term. This game could easily go to 500 US dollars. Snap your fingers, it's a $500 game without question.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
And who knows where it goes beyond that. Number 2 is a game that I don't own, so I can't show you. Okay, normally I like to have the game physically, but if I don't own it, nothing I can do about it. I can't even get my hands on it on this particular game. It's that rare. And the game is called Prehistorik Man. Let's pull up the chart right away. This is a platformer, action platformer, classic platformer. But it carries some of its own unique traits that have launched it into the hidden gem stratosphere. Chart looks great. I mean, let's dive into this first. Back in 2010, you could have got this for $4. You know, like I said, you could find this at a garage sale back in the day for $1. $5 at I mean, you'd be getting ripped off if somebody tried to charge you $5 for this at a garage sale in 2010. And by the way, I got a lot of my N64 games and my grape purple N64 console and controllers back in 2010 at a garage sale, $20 Canadian for everything, including like 20 games. So yeah, that was the heyday of garage sales. That time is over. eBay exists now. Every mother, every father, every grandmother has a cell phone now. Everybody knows how to look up prices. Everybody's heard or knows that retro games have value now, or most people know. Prehistorik Man, straight line up since 2010, never stopped going up until October 2022 when it hit its all-time high, 54 US dollars. Currently trades for about 48.56, so 50 US dollars. In Canadian dollars, that is 67.62. Not a cheap game, but guess what? Good luck getting a copy for a good price or anywhere near that price. Good luck getting a good condition copy anywhere near that price. That's all I'm going to say. Because guess what? I'm on the market trying to get one too. And I've kind of given up for now. I mean, I don't know. You gotta pick and choose your battles. You gotta pick and choose your battles. And guess what? When I get more money in the future, more disposable income, maybe I go buy some other games and I come back to this one later. I'm well aware that I'm going to be paying double the price. Hell, I'm going to be, considering there's nothing on the market, I'm going to be paying double the price anyway. But who knows? Who knows where this game could go? But right now, the trend is up. It had this dip. Who knows what was the cause of this dip, or if somebody had sold some poor condition copies that mess with the price charting chart. But it really doesn't matter as long as the long-term trend is intact. We can ignore these parabolic moves up or down. This is a game that chances are none of you ever played, and I would gander to say none of you even knew about it back in the day when it was new. When did this game come out? This game came out, 1996? Wow, so it's a fairly late Super Nintendo release, considering that the N64 also came out, 1996, North America? So the world was rapidly moving to 3D. Sony PlayStation was coming out. or was out. Probably came out, what, 1995? So, Prehistoric Man is a great example of a game that the market only recently discovered as a hidden gem. And sometimes there's a trigger event for the market discovering new games. And yes, I mean, it's shocking to even say that. Imagine that. Imagine that the market in the year 2020, 2021, and in this case, I believe it was 2022. It was either 2021 or 2022. Imagine that the market is discovering brand new Super Nintendo hidden gems in 2021. Like, this is incredible. The market right now, today, is still finding interesting little hidden gems on the Super Nintendo, a console that's over 30 years old. Over 30 years old, and the market is still discovering new games. And that's another reason why the prices are going up. That's a trigger event to cause the price to go up because demand goes up. When the market discovers a hidden gem, the demand for that game goes up. Supply and demand. Demand goes up, supply doesn't go up. There's no new print runs coming for Prehistoric Man on the Super Nintendo. There's a finite number of games out there. So, what makes this game so good in general, anyway? Well, it's got great graphics. I mean, 1996 release. It's quite impressive. It has great music, underrated music, a soundtrack that nobody even knew about previously. And it's more than just a side scrolling platformer. It's not just a Mario clone or some other generic platformer clone. It breaks up the standard platforming by introducing new mechanics in each stage, including sections where you're riding a hang glider. Like, they're constantly adding new mechanics and teaching you through those new levels how to use those new mechanics. I want to show you something else here. I believe that this was one of the main trigger events, a video posted by a very well known, very famous YouTuber called SNES Drunk. He's one of the best, arguably the best YouTube reviewer for Super Nintendo games in general. And his channel has blown up over the last many years. And he made a video on Prehistorik Man about 4 years ago. So I put that timeline roughly 2021 or 2022. And it kind of matches up with that parabolic move that we had before she dipped back down. But this video still gets views to this day. You got to understand, the more people that find out about a game like this, the more people are going to buy it. And they're not just going to buy it right away. Yeah, you might get a short-term parabolic move up or short-term heavy demand, but not everyone buys it right away. Not everyone has that money. Look, I want to buy this game. I would like to buy this game right now, but I don't have the money. So it's going on my list of games that I will buy in the future. So, maybe there's 5,000 collectors out there. Let's just pick a random number, and they all want this game. Well, it's on their list. They're not going to buy it today. But over the next 5 years, and in some cases 10 years, 15 years, I've been collecting a long time, buddy. I've been collecting over 20 years. Sometimes it takes that long before you can finally purchase that game. Because there's other games that you're also simultaneously buying. You got to pick and choose your battles, prioritize which games you want. And so who knows when I'll get this game, but it might be 3 or 4 or 5 years from now even. Might be 6 months from now. I don't know. So that's that steady flow of demand. Look at this chart. This is a steady flow of demand over the course of 20 years, 16 years. Here's another review video that I found. It's a little bit older, 7 years older, but remember, if you look at the chart, the game's been going up ever since. This also contributes to people discovering these new games. YouTubers help people discover the hidden gems that they would have never found on their own. And I narrowed in on this one because this guy is calling this game an underrated classic. And I watched his review. I watched the whole thing, start to finish. And He appreciates this game for what it is. It's a work of art. And it's exactly what he says, an underrated classic. A game that was ignored. A game that didn't get the respect it deserves. A game that is currently getting the respect it deserves. A game that likely didn't have a large print run. I mean, if I saw this at the rental stores back in the day, it was so unmemorable that I don't remember anything about it. I don't even remember seeing the box art. And probably if I did see the box art, I definitely would have ignored it. Prehistorik Man does not sound very appealing. I'll take Blackthorn over there, thank you. I'll take Final Fantasy III over there, thank you. I'll take NHL 95, thank you very much. NHL 96, thank you very much. I'll take that Super Metroid game. I'd like to rent that one, thank you very much. I'll take Earthworm Jim 1 and 2. Thank you. Excellent games to rent. I ain't renting Prehistorik Man with my hard-earned money. All right, game number 3 is a game I bought a long time ago, dirt cheap. And hear me out, hear me out. This is a Lawnmower Man, and many of you might be familiar with this one. I can guarantee you that. It came with a cool custom-made rental case at the time. Got it on eBay many, many years ago from a seller that was selling all of his games. He personally made these custom-made rental cases, and back then shipping was very cheap. And so I was able to get all of the games that I got from him for very cheap. And I'll even show you a few more. Look at this. This is really cool. Getting off topic, but it's worth it. Darkwing Duck custom rental case. Back of the case and everything. This is exactly a case that you would have saw at Blockbuster Video, Jumbo Video, Rogers Video. Also got A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I got all these before the prices went up. This is a very expensive game. Also got DuckTales number 1, Chip and Dale number 2. There's more down there too. There's DuckTales 2 as well. There are games inside, authentic originals. Got them all dirt cheap, way back in the day. Probably around 2010, 2009, some of them even. But this is Lawnmower Man. And this is oh wow, it's a interesting game. There's essentially 3 games in one. It is a run and gun Contra style game. And hear me out. Like I said, hear me out. But it's also a mode 7 like flying game. You're flying, dodging and weaving and flying. And it's also a on-rail shooter. And even in those flying stages, it eventually turns into, it gives you a gun. So you're not just dodging and weaving anymore, trying to get from point A to point B without hitting any obstacles. No, now you're shooting things. You're dodging, weaving, and shooting. Like a Star Fox, like a very cheap, poor man's Star Fox. So it breaks up the monotonous gameplay. Some people love it, some people hate it. Well, let's pull up the chart here. And guess what? This game, right now, 2026, January 2026, just hit all-time highs. This is not a rare game, as far as I know. Highly doubt it. And people keep telling me Super Nintendo prices are all crashing. Nobody's buying Super Nintendo prices. I can just emulate them. Why would I pay $17.57 $17.57 Canadian for Lawnmower Man? Oh, I refuse to pay these prices. The prices are going to crash because I refuse to pay them. This is what people are writing in the comment section because they're retarded. This is what I've been trying to teach you guys for the last 6 years. Don't listen to retards. All-time high on Lawnmower Man right now. And you're telling me that these prices are crashing? That they're going to all go to zero? Well, not yet they're not. 25 years from today, let's talk. You know, because you might be right 25 years from today. But that's a long time. That's a long time from now. This is a game that's been heavily bashed its entire life. Heavily bashed. But guess what? The thing is, a lot of games that were heavily bashed at the time of release, the market eventually rediscovers that game. And that's what's happening with Lawnmower Man. And by the way, the Super Nintendo version is superior to the Sega Genesis version. The Sega Genesis version is too fast. That blast processing actually makes the game more difficult. So that slower paced Super Nintendo works out in the benefit of the player because the enemies' attacks, you can actually see them coming. When you're doing the flying stages, you can actually see the obstacles coming and you have time to react. This game was also heavily bashed at the time for having one-hit deaths. But guess what? Contra also has one-hit deaths. That's normal. Get good. Contra's not an easy game. Not a single Contra game is actually easy. Pick any Contra, they're all difficult. And I will even tell you, especially the Sega Genesis one, that is the one that I had a lot of difficulty with. I mean, hell, even the Super Nintendo one. Very difficult games, but very fun. Now, is Lawnmower Man a Contra? No, obviously not. It's the poor man's Contra. That's what it is. And to be honest, I never saw the movie, so I don't understand. You know, I've heard people say that if you enjoyed the movie, you're definitely going to enjoy the game. Well, I never saw the movie, so it means nothing to me. But you go into these hacker stages, these other world stages after every run and gun stage. The game is known for getting notoriously difficult toward the end, but guess what? There's cheat codes to help you. Here are some of the cheat codes. You can do a level skip. I mean, that's the big one. Because, I mean, the average person is not going to get good enough to get to the end of this game. So you can actually level skip. Regular and special stages select. Infinite lives. You're definitely going to want to use that one. Let's check out some of the reviews. Because guess what? There's another modern review. I like to see the modern reviews. We got a 5 out of 10. So, you know, he's saying it's okay, which means not the worst. It's playable. Another guy in 2003, 9 out of 10. Watch out, Contra. Gameplay, 10 out of 10. I mean, this guy liked all three aspects of the game. He liked the flying stages. He liked the on-rail shooter style flying stages. He liked the poor man Star Fox gameplay. He loved the run and gun gameplay. He loved it all. 10 out of 10. Where some people bash everything except for the run and gun style. Oh yeah, by the way, there are secrets in this game. You're going to find a lot of secrets. This user says this game has an awesome variety of gameplay. First, the game starts off as a standard side scroller, shooting everything from humans to monkeys riding bikes. Very nice control with Contra style action. Every level has a midsection boss and an end boss. As the game progresses, these bosses become very challenging. Bosses range from motorcycles shooting guns to limos throwing bombs to people on fire with flamethrowers. Then comes the best part. Take note, guys. Take notes. Because this is the part that people bash, but like I said, some people like it. It's cool, it's interesting, it's unique. We're talking Super Nintendo. We're not talking PS5. Put yourself back in the 90s. This is a retro game. This isn't 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. One of the best games ever made. This isn't Silent Hill. This isn't Resident Evil. This is Lawnmower Man on the Super Nintendo. He says at the end of each level, you enter virtual reality. And you have to fly first-person style through a series of progressively harder mazes. Later on in the game, you get a gun in these virtual reality stages, and you have to shoot space monkeys in order to complete the stage. He says the only problem is the game might be too hard for some as it tends to get very difficult toward the end of the game. And you only have a limited amount of lives to work with. But guess what? There's a cheat code. So we just solved that problem. Once again, I want to point out something on this chart because a lot of times these retro games, they move in waves. And I look at this, I see 3 waves. Wave 1, so about mid 2012 all the way until 2019. That's wave 1. That's the first major move. Very slow, a major move up and then a slow and steady climb. Didn't do much though. Kind of flat line, kind of a trading range, but still uptrending. A very clear uptrend regardless. But then wave 2 comes and you get that other huge move at the beginning. Huge move. Wave 2 never really settled. It had a big dip though. So wave 2 ended 2023, spring 2023, had the big dip. And now you're on wave 3. You're on another wave as we speak. That's how it hit all-time highs. It's a game that people are now interested in. They bashed it in the past, and now it's becoming a little bit of a hidden gem. Something that's not as bad as people say it is. Maybe the Sega Genesis version is that bad, but not the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo is a pretty good game. I don't care what anybody says. There's a lot worse out there than Lawnmower Man. You can actually have fun. And did I mention that the game is 2-player co-op? That helps a lot. That helps with a game like this. I'll play this any day of the week. You want to come over, play 2-player co-op? I'll pop this game in any day of the week. And probably we're going to use cheat codes. And hell, we're going to bust out the Game Genie too. I didn't even look for Game Genie codes. This game was 75 cents in 2010. The bottom of 2010, right before the bull market started, you could have got this for 75 cents. This would have been in the discount clearance bins. They were desperate to get rid of this thing. You would have found this at a pawn shop for $1. Hell, you would have found this at a pawn shop for 50 cents. And now every 75 cents is a 100% increase. And I guarantee every single one of you guys watching this video, you would have said Lawnmower Man sucks and it's a worthless game. It's never going to go up in price. How many times have I heard that? How many times has somebody told me in the comment section that these prices are never going to go up? How many times have I named a bad game and somebody says, that game's garbage. No one's ever going to buy it. The price is never going to go up. How many times have you heard that on YouTube? Well, look at Lawnmower Man. 16-year bull market. A game like Lawnmower Man can easily double. It's never going to be a $500 game. But if you want to get it for cheap, buy the game as cheap as possible. You don't sit and wait. You don't dilly-dally for 20 years and then bitch and whine that you can't get it for 75 cents anymore. You had your chance to buy it for 75 cents. You didn't. And now you're going to bitch and whine in the YouTube comment section. And you're going to be doing that for the next 20 years, bitching and whining about prices going up. Well, the smart people, you know what they do? They buy them when they're cheap. They'll look at something like Lawnmower Man. They'll look at the chart. They'll actually look at the data. They'll do the research. They don't just listen to some retard on YouTube who's not actually showing you the data. He's just pulling stuff out of his ass. And they'll look at Lawnmower Man and they might look at that chart and they would have looked at it 10 years ago. And they say, wait a minute, I see a trend here. They might say, hey, you know what? I've always wanted Lawnmower Man. I know it's not the best game. I know Contra 3 is better. Plenty of better games out there. But I've always wanted to play that game. It's cool. It's interesting. It's something new. It's unique. It's cheap. I can get it in my collection right now for $10. Right now for $10 and the price is going up. All right. I think I'll do that right now today. Or in 2010, right now today for 75 cents. I want to show you something. This is not This game does not count as one of the OG 69s, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. I'm using this as an example to show you how many Super Nintendo games have gone up in value. This is Barbie Super Model. I have this on the Sega Genesis, sealed by the way. I bought a sealed copy way back in the day for $12 Canadian. Still have it to this day. Have no idea if it's worth anything, but I still got it. And I bought it. I was going to open it too, by the way. I just never did. I have a loose cart copy anyway, and I have played this game. Me and my friend beat this game. It sucks. It's a game for 3-year-olds, but it's still kind of cool. Just because it's Super Nintendo and it's Barbie, and it's still a piece of history. It's still a work of art. It's a retro game for a lost era of the 90s. The last decade that was actually good. The last of the great decades. And you know what? People are paying big money for this. 25 Canadian dollars is what it price charts for. Plus, you're probably going to pay shipping on top of that. That's $17.49 US. It's pretty close to all-time highs. And here's what's interesting about this chart. You know, it's a slow mover. It's not a rare game. It's not a sought-after game. But if you look at, you might be looking at this chart and you might think, well, since 2020, it's been in a trading range. But you got to look closer. You got to have a keen eye. Dig deep. Here's what I notice. Each of these peaks is a higher high. Each peak is higher than the previous one. So we could draw a trend line here, a very slow uptrend. I mean, these lows, you might even say these lows are higher lows as well. It's dipping back up again. Let's see if this current dip that we're on the upper end, trending up, let's see if this one gets higher than that previous high yet again. So the previous high, which was the all-time high, 1774. Let's see if that continues. And I don't know who's buying this game. I'm not recommending you buy this game, by the way. I recommend you don't buy this game. I recommend you stay far away from this game. Unless you're legally insane. In that case, go and buy 2 copies. That's what I did. Let's do one more game. And yet again, it's a game that I don't own. I'm collecting Super Nintendo games. I've been collecting them for 25 years now. I'm not going to stop. There's a lot of games that I still need. A lot of games that I have. I mean, I got way more than the average person, sure. But it's my favorite console of all time. So yeah, as you can see, it takes a long time to get these games, which ties into what I was telling you guys before. You know, once the market discovers a hidden gem, it doesn't just have one move up and then everyone's done buying. That demand will continue for the next 20 years, even 30 years. I mean, who knows? Because that's how long it takes for some of these people to actually go and purchase it. It's on the bucket list of plenty other games, or maybe they got to spend their money on other things. They got a house to fix. They got their wife left them and took the kids, and they got to pay lawyer fees. Thanks a lot, Karen. All because I spent all our money on the friggin' Nintendo Switch games, and the Repo Man came and took the car.
Hey, you! Get out of here! That's my car!
I forgot what I was even talking about, but game number 4, because Barbie doesn't count. Although maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe it does. Game number 4, a game that I do not own. Konami Classic, Sunset Rider Super Nintendo. And this game is different from the Sega Genesis version. Each version is its own unique game. They are different. They're not clones of each other. It's up for debate as to which one is better. I've heard some people say Sega Genesis version is the best. Other people will tell you Super Nintendo. And to be honest, I never played the Sega version, so I don't know. But I did play this Super Nintendo version. My friend owned this game. And we played a lot of it, and to be honest, yeah, I wasn't very good at it. We couldn't beat it. I know that it's a beatable game, but you gotta get good to beat this game. But man, is it fun. Once you learn how to play, you play by its rules. It's not Contra. You gotta learn to dodge, and you're gonna have fun. And it's funny too. Like it's meant to be humorous. It's not serious. It's a run and gun game. And it's one of the best of all time. I'm pretty sure it was an arcade game too. But anyways, I pulled up the chart right away because I want to show you the long-term trend. Once again, still going up. However, the pace of the climb has definitely slowed. The steepest pace was from 2011 to the high of roughly 2016, when it went from 1870 US dollars to about 81 US dollars. Currently trades for 98 US dollars, so $100. Recent sold listings up to 120. What's the condition? What's the shipping cost? Commonly sells for $100 flat. So it looks like the market is really struggling to break through that $100 resistance level, which makes sense. That's common. These even numbers like a flat 100, that's common that would serve as both a resistance level or a support level. And probably in the future, guess what? When it finally does break through 100, that $100 will eventually become support rather than resistance. So yeah, it's just not been able to definitively break through that level. It's attempted a few times, but it's never been even remotely successful. Yeah. Twice back in 2021, 2022, looked like it had a good chance to break through and just was unsuccessful, came right back down. Looked like a double top right there. And then, of course, the inevitable dip down. So it's just kind of stuck in a trading range right now. But I'm throwing this out there because, this is not a high flyer. It's a little bit expensive for a Super Nintendo game. It's more on the expensive range. It's not rare. It's decently common. It's a Konami game. Obviously, it had a pretty good print run. It's just such a good game. It's like a Metroid. Metroid's not rare. Zelda's not rare. Final Fantasy III is not rare. But they command a high value because they're in high demand. And this game, this is a game that, this is going to keep up with inflation, or at least try to keep up with inflation in the long term. Maybe not quite, but it's just an example of something that could continue a very slow uptrend into the future. It's always going to be a high dollar game. It's never going to become a $20 game. I don't care what anybody tells you. But as you can see, we had a wave 1 move, which was the biggest and steepest of the waves, the most bullish of the waves, from 2012 to 2016, which is when Super Nintendo games were becoming very popular. Retro games were very popular. Here on YouTube, NES and Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis were dominating YouTube around that era, partially thanks to the Angry Video Game Nerd and the Irate Gamer and plenty other classic YouTubers, many of which are no longer around today. They're not making videos today. It dipped down a little bit and began a wave 2 move around that COVID time. About a 50% increase, went from about $65 to round up, $105, roughly a 50% increase. And that's where we're stuck today. And guess what? At some point in the future, we will get a wave 3 move. And it's probably not going to be a very steep one, but the new floor could be $125. This game got rave reviews back in the day and still to this day. Just look at these GameFAQ reviews. Plenty of 10s. I mean, this is all platforms, but it doesn't matter what platform it's on. It's a 10 out of 10 game no matter what platform. Oh, somebody gave it a 3 back in 07. But then he said this game's a blast. What? Is that a typo? Contra in the Wild West. I mean, yeah, that's a good way to describe it. 9 out of 10. Maybe the best port on the Super Nintendo. 10 out of 10. 2019 review. That's what I like to see. Still holds up to this day. Guys, the list of games I brought you today are not the most rarest or most expensive. It's literally five random games that I chose. I wanted a high variety of common, rare, cheap, expensive. Shien's Revenge being rare and expensive. Dirt cheap being Lawnmower Man, Barbie. Uncommon, lesser known, Prehistorik Man. And very much known, not rare, pretty common, but sought after. And you can see how the charts vary depending on the type of game as well, and what can happen, when a parabolic move can happen, what kind of trigger event can happen. I wanted this to be more of an educational type video, kind of understand what can cause a game to go up, understand that the market is still to this day looking for hidden gems, and they're finding plenty of them, and I'm going to bring up a lot of them in the future. Like I said, I got a list of 200, and some of the charts look absolutely incredible. Very steep climbs, 16-year climbs. And some are very affordable to this day. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a comment below. Please consider subscribing to the channel. And I also do have a Patreon. I post exclusive content every single month. So please, if you want to support the channel, you want to help this channel grow, you want to help me dedicate time to the channel, consider joining the Patreon. It's dirt cheap. The cheapest to join is $1. $1 to join. I think that's US dollar, by the way. It might even be a Canadian dollar. I don't know. I just hit a dollar. Okay, whatever currency it charges you, that's what it charges you. But I do post exclusive content. Thank you, everyone that supports the Patreon. You guys keep the channel going. Everyone that subscribes, you guys keep the channel going. All the people that comment every week, you guys literally keep the channel going. You don't understand that you keep the channel going, but you do. I tell you every week, but I still don't think that you get it. So I don't have a script. I wrote a couple of notes, and that's it. And most of the notes were just what games am I going to put on the dang list. So I meant for this to be a 20-minute video, but yet again, I have a strong suspicion that this is going to be like 1 hour.
Yeah. Blowing in the cartridge, man, this ain't a flute. Duck hunt, quick draw, zapper on mute. Pixel dreams in the box, stack them high like loot. But these prices going up, feeling less astute. Got Mario in the tux, he's swinging like Sinatra. Gold coins in my pocket, I'm the Cooper Don Dada. The thrift store finds now cost more than Prada. Turn my basement into Wall Street, the NES saga. NES flex, diapers on deck. Playing all night, never hit reset. NES stacks, ain't no regrets. Prices going crazy, but we still collect. Joystick tap dance, baseline bop. Contra running loops up, don't stop. Zelda's gold card clothes, treasure in the shop. But the tag on the box got me yelling, what the guap? Used to cop 'em for a 10, now they 45. Vintage dreams, keep my childhood alive. Rocking adult diapers, man, I'm built to survive. Pause the game for nothing, even nature gets denied. Flip through the manual, art on the page. Feels like jazz, every note, every stage. The cartridge spins stories, the consoles are sage. We the kings of 8-bit, and NES is the edge.